Hi friends, welcome to WeTeach. Today we will discuss the ROC properties of Laplace transform. So here ROC means region of convergence. With some examples in the last session we already said for the different signals the ROC is different. That means many different signals may have algebraically same expression of the Laplace transform, but they can be distinguished by their ROC. So here ROC constraints on various signals we will discuss in this session. And now let us recall the definition of ROC. And ROC is the region of convergence, which is the range of values of sigma, that is the real part of S, for which the Laplace transform exists, is known as region of convergence. And now let us see here the properties of ROC. And ROC is always consisting strips which are parallel to the j omega axis. Why? Because here ROCs are specified by the poles, and with reference to that pole, by drawing the strips, we will specify the ROC either on right side or on left side. So here ROC consists strips which are parallel to the j omega axis. And the second property is ROC doesn't contain any pole. Why? Because when you consist it pole, for example, let us say x of s is 1 by s minus a, and here the pole is s equal to a, and when you take s value a, here you will get 1 by a minus a, which is 1 by 0, and it is infinity. So ROC doesn't contain any pole. It is just a reference for the ROC. From that pole only we have to say whether towards the right side or towards the left side or between two poles, but it doesn't contain any pole. And come to the third property. Whenever the signal is of finite duration, that means if the signal is having zero value as t tends to infinity for that finite duration signal, and whenever it is absolute integrable, the ROC is entire S-plane. There is no restriction on the existence of Laplace transform. Why? Because see here in the previous session we discussed the Laplace transform of e power at u of t, which is 1 by s minus a, and it will exist whenever the real part of s is greater than a. So there is the restriction on real part of s value for the existence of Laplace transform. And similarly, let us say the finite duration signal, impulse signal delta of t. For this delta of t, the Laplace transform is 1 irrespective of s value. So for this finite duration signal delta of t, we can say the ROC is entire S-plane. So whenever the signal is of finite duration and is absolute integrable, the ROC is entire S-plane. And come to the fourth property. Whenever the signal is right-sided signal, then the ROC is specified with reference to some value which is real part of s greater than, let us say, that reference value as sigma naught. So here for the right-sided signal, whenever the real part of s equal to sigma naught is in the ROC, then whatever the value which is having the real part of s greater than sigma naught will also be in that ROC. And now come to the fifth property. Whenever the signal x of t is left-sided signal, and particularly the real part of s equal to sigma naught is in ROC, then whatever the values, or you can say all the values of s for which the real part of s is less than sigma naught will also be in the ROC. Why? Because there we have to specify the ROC with reference to real part of s less than particular value. And next come to the two-sided signal. So here x of t is a two-sided signal and the real part of s equal to sigma naught is in ROC. Then the ROC of the two-sided signal consists the strips that must include that real part of s equal to sigma naught. So here all these are explained with example in the last session. So here this is consisting strips like this, and the second property is saying doesn't contain any pole. And whenever x of t is finite duration, entire S-plane, for example, you can say for the delta of t, the Laplace transform 1. And whenever x of t is right-sided signal, the ROC is towards right side like this. whenever x of t is left-sided signal, the ROC is towards left side like this. Whenever x of t is two-sided signal, the ROC is between two strips. So here we can say that must and should be specified by the strips that must include real part of S equal to sigma naught line. And seventh property, in all these cases we are observing that ROC is either specified from the pole towards infinity or poles towards minus infinity or between two poles. So that is the seventh property. ROC is bounded by poles or it is extending from poles towards infinity. And finally, eighth property, when you consider x of t as the combination of two right-sided signals or two or more right-sided signals, and at the same time the combination of two or more left-sided signals, at that time it will describe the corresponding ROC. So here eighth property is saying that whenever x of S is rational with x of t right-sided signal, then the ROC is from right of the rightmost pole. That means here when you say these are the two poles of two right-sided signals combination, then ROC is from the right of rightmost pole. And if x of S is rational and x of t is left-sided signal, then its ROC is from the left of leftmost pole. So here all these 8 properties of ROC helpful in order to understand the region of convergence of various signals. So simply you can remember it consisting as strips, doesn't contain pole. For the finite duration entire S plane, for the right-sided signal ROC is towards right side. For the left-sided signal the ROC is towards left side. For the two-sided signal the ROC is between two strips, and it is always specified between poles or poles towards infinity. And when you have the right-sided signals combination, the ROC is from the right of rightmost pole, and when you have the combination of two or more left-sided signals, the ROC is from the left of leftmost pole. So based on this, we can analyze the different signals ROC in the problems, and we will see the elementary signals Laplace transforms in the next session, and there we will in detail let us analyze this ROC also. Thank you.